Right, today I want to show you a new accessory I picked up from my DowelMax jig. It's a 45-degree accessory that mounts on this portion of the jig. You take this part off and put this on, and then it allows you to run dowels into your work and made them up that way. So what you end up with is kind of like an ellipse looking dowel, a through dowel on the pieces. I think it'll look pretty cool, but I don't know. I haven't used it yet. So what I want to do is I went to my scrap pile basically, and I got this old box joint setup that I was using, and it didn't quite turn out. Two of the corners go together, but the other two don't. So I'm going to miter these and get them all the same length, and then put them together with this new setup. So, okay, here's the drops. One thing I'm noticing here is that these are not all the same width. So I'm gonna run them through the table saw and just take a little shaving off of them and get them to the same dimension. And the other thing that I want to let you know is that I did this on my miter saw, and I marked an X with the first miter, so all the X's are on the right side, and then an X on the bottom. So what I'll do is I'll run the X side against the fence, keeping this side to the blade. Top side is going to go to the blade. Okay, there's two ways of using this jig. You can use it as, let me just take this out quick. You can use this without a spacer. So this would be tight, like so. And then you could just do a flush 45, like that, and have your drill bit penetrate the work, but you'd have to stop it short about like so that you don't go through the other side or into your aluminum, the aluminum backer here. So, but what I want to do is a through dowel joint. So in order to do that, I have to make an accessory for this piece. And when I back this off, I put on my 3/8 spacer. Tighten that up. And now you can see that if I were to put this in here now, the dowel is going to be way below my 45-degree miter. So I have to add a spacer to bring that back to where I want it, so that the drill bit still penetrates just this part of the miter, just this surface, not the inside part. So I'm going to put that in there like that, and then when my drill bit now goes through the workpiece and into this sacrificial board, I have to set my depth, my lock collar, so that I don't penetrate the aluminum again. So all I need to do is just back this off, or drop this down, put my bit in, let it just touch, back it off a little bit, and then bring my collar up to this point right here. So let me make that adjustment. Alright, so now you can see I've got my collar set. You can see that my drill bit is going to penetrate the workpiece and end up in the sacrificial piece and not in my aluminum backer. Okay, I got my first piece clamped in here, and I have the check marks on the top here, but they're a little difficult to see. So I put them on the inside miter face, and that works out very well. I thought I was going to have to maybe use like some double stick tape to hold this in place, but it's not necessary. It basically wedges itself together. So flush up the check mark on this side, and then clamp her in place. Still good and flush. That's it. Well, she's moved a little bit on me. Alright, I decided to change clamps because when I use that quick action clamp, it tends to kind of rack it a little bit and move this ever so slightly. With this screw clamp, puts the pressure right where I want it and it stays there. So I'm gonna do 4 holes, I guess, might as well. And then we'll see how this turns out. Just want to double check to make sure I'm good here. I think that looks good. Okay, we got 4 through. It looks good. I think that kind of a lesson learned right here is that you're going to want to maybe size your material to, if you want equally spaced ones, or come up with some sort of offset so that, like, if I just did 3 here, I could have these centered. But that's all right. We're learning here as we go. So that's that one. I guess I could flip it around and do this one. So the check mark's over here. Flush it up on this side. Okay, and now I want to do these 4. Oh, my jig moved on me there. There we go. Okay, that looks good. 4 through on that side. So let me continue to do these up, the rest of these. I'll come back and we'll put it together. All right, I just finished up my last side there. I'm going to use the dowels that came with the jig. I hope they're long enough. They should be. So I'm just going to push them just barely through here. Get some of this stuff out of the way. And incidentally, when I thought my jig moved on me, it wasn't the jig that moved, it was this backer board. And I think that's one thing I might do different, is that I'll make sure that I line this up on the outside too, both directions, so that you always end up in the same spot. And maybe make it just a touch wider. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. Let's just see if I got the right one here. Oh yeah. Wow. It's a little tight. I'll put one more together here and then come back after I get the other ones done, so you don't have to witness me doing this, each of these here. And that one dowel is very snug. this top one. There we go. All right, let me get the other two sides together here and I'll come back. There you have it. That could be a very nice looking joint. Gotta get this one tapped down a little bit. And it doesn't go together all that difficult. I think that once you a bit of a learning curve there, I suppose, but once you get it figured out and dialed in, that's going to be a nice way to decorate a corner. These are just long enough to make that joint, but you can see there a couple of them, or let's see, yeah, a couple of them I'm perfect. I think I got a little careless with the alignment, but even though it's just a little bit out on a couple of them, it's still pulling it together nice and tight. So I'm very impressed with that setup. And the other thing I like about it is it's kind of self-aligning, so that when you drop it onto this, when you drop it onto your miter, it basically just locks itself into that position, and I've got to be a little more careful. I think one thing I could do is, when you're lining up that joint, is get a piece out here. I've done that before. Get an alignment board out here and just make sure you push against that and get it nice and flush. For my first time using it, I really think it's going to be a nice addition to my DowelMax setup. I like that joint, and that is that is locked in there. I mean, that is locked, and there isn't a drop of glue on that. Very nice. All right, thanks for watching. Well, I guess if you do own this jig, this is not a bad little accessory to have. I think they're 29 bucks plus some shipping. So take a look at it if you own the DowelMax. I like the way this has turned out. Then again, I guess before I go, is that you can, if you don't want to do this, you can stop short here, and you probably have to cut these dowels in half, I would guess, and just pin these corners. If you just wanted to do the, the grain wraparound type box, that would work as well. And then, because these are a light colored against this, I believe it's white oak, I think that'd be a nice contrast. So, okay, I'll quit babbling. Thanks for watching. See ya.